Hello, my name is Josephine Laing, and sometimes we have memories in our past that can trouble us. Sometimes we're aware of them, sometimes we're not so aware of them. And it's a good idea for us to remember our memories and the experiences and the events of our lives, and to take a look at them and see if we can't move through forgiveness or move into understanding. Sometimes if we try on the event from the other person's shoes, if we actually step into what their experience was, we can find greater understanding for what happened. Or we can move to forgiveness and say things like, I forgive you for not being the way that I wanted you to be. I forgive you and I set you free, and thereby free myself. It's a wonderful affirmation from Louise Hay. There are a number of ways that we can go ahead and relive our memories and heal them. Another way that I like to do is I will go back to the memory and I will pretend a different scenario as an outcome. I will pretend in my mind, I will imagine in my mind that things went differently from the way that they did, that things went in a way that I would have liked them to have gone. And I let myself really feel that new experience, and I really flood it with the emotion, the positive emotions of how I would have preferred the memory to have gone. And that way we can sort of change our response and our reactions. Because let's say I had a bad memory with a librarian who had red hair and wore glasses from a long time ago, maybe when I was 6 or 7 years old. And if I replay that memory in my mind and change my reaction to it, then when I meet somebody who has red hair and glasses today, I won't have such a gut reaction of fear or apprehension that would normally be associated with that experience. So one of the things that I really like to do is to say a little prayer for the healing of the memories. And that alone can be tremendously transformative. So I'll just remember, if I have something that I feel a kind of a gut reaction to, and I'm not so sure it's something that I really need to be aware of or afraid of, I'll just pray. And I'll just say, Dear Divine Spirit of my higher self, help me to heal these memories. And that one thing alone can help us a lot. Now, remembering our memories can be a little bit tricky, but all that it takes is just our time and our devotion and our persistence. And so there was a time in my life when I had amnesia and I had to remember my life. And I would sit on the back porch with a glass of iced tea, and I would just take my time and sit back and remember whatever I could. And memory to me is like little threads. And we can often think of our memory, though there is no place for memory actually in our heads or in our brains. They've not yet found a place for it. But we can imagine that what I like to do is to imagine that there are little caves or caverns that we can follow back through the darkness of our memories and find from one thread to another an additional memory. So if I remember one thing, I can think back to that time, and I can imagine and use my imagination to help me remember anything else that might be associated with that time. Perhaps there was a taste or a flavor or a feeling or a mood or a temperature or an article of clothing, anything that can help me to remember something else, and then we remember a little further. And for sometimes especially with our painful or difficult memories, we do not have to remember very much of it at all. Just the slightest little morsel is enough for us to work with. And go ahead and then pray for the healing of the memories, or think of a replacement memory that we would rather have instead, or just ask for forgiveness or reach for understanding. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. It's been certainly very helpful for me in our lives. Our memories are so important, and it's a good idea for us to clear ourselves so that we can come forward in our lives with greater clarity and understanding, and without carrying a lot of old injury and damage from the past. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you have a lovely day.